What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? We are here once again, y'all, for this week's episodes here. And once again, we're kind of getting into a little bit of a theme here where, you know, a lot of times, especially building up to games, we always like to bring on somebody. Most people like to bring on somebody from the opponent to kind of talk about the opponent. But I think that from seeing all the comments, things like that, nobody really is interested in what Duke or what Marshall was giving us. They're interested in what's going on within NC State football. So we're kind of continuing with the trend here where we brought on Ryan Williams, and we brought on, insider guys. Now we're bringing on Kenton GIbbs here with Locked On Wolfpack here, as always. And hey, Ken, man, it's been a while, man. I know we brought you on last season. It's good to finally have you back on with us once again, man.
Yeah, it's been much too long. I'm always excited to talk to the Tuffy Talks crew. Y'all are, I tell people all the time, the word fan is short for fanatic, and you all exemplify it in every meaning of the word. So
we try. We do the best we can.
It's always exciting to be on with y'all, actually.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. So, Ken, man, I know for you and me, I mean, you and I, share, a common bond, where we were both, a part of the NC State football program during the same time. I played, quarterback, no, I was a football equipment manager while Ken, you were a defensive lineman. And, I just want to kind of just go ahead and get this to you first, because I know, Grayson, we're trying to get him in here, and, we'll, from Locked On Wolfpack as well, technical difficulties, but we had to go ahead and get rolling here. But so while we're waiting for, I wanted to kind of ask you, one of the biggest things that, has come up a lot, and especially over this last week where, we talk about the Marshall game, which we'll definitely talk on here a little bit, where, had issues with, the coaching decisions and play calling, things like that. A lot of talk about Doeren. And one of the biggest things that every single time comes up talking about Doeren is he's 39-45 in the ACC. And, saying, he's third, he doesn't have a winning record in the ACC. He's never won an ACC championship. He's never even been to ACC championship, things like that. And I just wanted to kind of ask you, because it always just makes me laugh, because I just have to think people don't understand how bad he got, what he inherited. What he inherited.
Not with you standing, Kenton.
Yeah, no, he wasn't on the team at the time.
No,
so that's not a thing as Ken. But I mean, I'm just sitting here saying, listen, you look at that 2013 team, I know, from Ken, when we had you on last year, one of the things that you said was, they didn't have the dogs then that they do now. And that was definitely a case with, Brandon Mitchell, Pete Thomas, my boy Rashard Smith. I mean, I love Rashard, but just, you saw a receiver, but not, an elite level guy. And then, defense wise, there just wasn't a whole lot. It's again, it was just really a blank slate that he got handed, and that he tried to do the best that he could. But I mean, it really was a long shot to be successful, with that roster, man. So, I mean, I'm sitting here saying, yeah, okay, first year he went 0-8. Well, if you take out those 8 losses right there already, he has a winning record in the ACC, 39 and 39-37, right there, winning record in the ACC. And then you say, okay, well, it takes him a little bit of time to get rolling. We're not saying, well, Bill Gates, he's not really that good of a businessman, because he first started off, not very successful, but
millions of dollars in debt.
Yeah, millions of dollars in debt, he's not that good of a businessman. You gotta see where he started, and you gotta see where he's taking this program. And I'm seeing a program that had no dogs, that had, okay, we made a bowl game. Yay. Good job. And now you're losing to the number 10 team in the country, where you took them, you had a chance to tie the game with 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And you're saying, fire Dave Doeren, we stink. And I'm like, how I know that we took the program a long ways? Because you're pissed off we lost the number 10 team in the country. Come on. So, I mean, Ken, fill it in, man. You've been there. We've seen this program from the inside out to grow where it is, man.
Yeah, and so fan is short for fanatic can be good, and it can also be bad, right? It can also mean sometimes we can be fanatical in our expectations and whatnot. The reality is, I understand the cause to get rid of Doeren. I get it. I understand, right? People are hungry, thirsty for a conference championship.
10 years, right?
Yeah, it's a very legitimate thing to say, hey, you know, we don't have an appearance and all that. And I don't care what side, what division you played in, even though our division produced every champion over the last, since Doeren has been here, only one time has the Coastal produced a champion. Only one time ever. So, you know, it's very clear to me that like there is a very legitimate case for, hey, Doeren needs to produce more and we need to stop hearing about next year and the future's bright and the future's always bright and all that. And that Doeren does make some mistakes and errors that are very much so, you know, if you want to talk about the Marshall game going into halftime, MJ's rolling. The offense is rolling. Anai was cooking. I watched the all 22 on that game. And brother, I don't know if Robert and I listened to this podcast, but brother, you were in the bag. You were in the bag. You put the good Saison on there. You put the good garlic powder in that pot, brother. Yeah, you ain't come at it with just a pinch of salt. You went real heavy with it.
You hit it with the hot sauce.
He hit it with the hot sauce. And so with that being said, you know, the decision to kind of go conservative that not only halted our momentum, but gave Marshall momentum. Moments like that, I can understand where it's coming from. But like you said, there's also the other aspect of it to where you have to look at the floor of this program has been raised exponentially. Like that, the one year that we went, 2019 or so, where everybody and their mama who put on a Wolfpack jersey was hurt. In that season, that was the aberration. Other than that year, we have consistently raised the floor, but the charge, what people want to see, raise the roof, brother, raise the ceiling. You've got to push that thing up. It's good. 6 to 8 to 9 is good. 10 is great. Conference championship is great. And I'll tell you this much, Doeren, if you win a conference championship, Dave, I don't know if you're listening. If you win a conference championship, guess what? In 20 years, that's going to be called Dave Doeren Stadium.
You're going to have a statue.
Freaking-lutely.
You're going to have a statue.
Absolutely.
You're going to be right next to the Wolves, brother. You're going to be right next to the Wolves. You're already on pace to have every coaching record in NC State history. You're going to have them all. Every one of them is going to be yours. Most wins, most conference wins. You're on pace for all of them to be yours. You just need that crown jewel to say, I wasn't just a good coach at NC State. I wasn't just a great coach at NC State. I was a great coach, period. I got a conference championship under my belt. I got a natty under my belt. I got a natty appearance under my belt. Because you take NC State to a natty, that's different now. You're moving different. You're talking about this program differently than it would be if it was, well, you know, we won our 9 games. You know, we won our 9 games. The Cheez-Its Bowl had amazing gifts. Great gifts, beautiful gowns. We got all the gifts you could imagine. No, folks want to see legitimate fist in hands full of rings and not just bowl rings. ACC championship rings need to be included in there as well. So, you know, I 1,000% see where the fans are coming from. But, you know, and there's also a very real aspect of this that's like, let's not jump the gun here, because I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, well, because you can't find a better replacement, you can't replace him. But you need to find that replacement. You need to have somebody in that you're like, hey, this person can cook up something. Because I think it's childish and feckless, really, to say, hey, we're going to get rid of him and anybody would be better. Look at Boston College. They said anybody would be better than Adazio.
How many times have they done that?
Hey,
but that's my point.
Yep.
That's my point.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Miami pushed Manny Diaz out just to lose because the guy refused to take a knee. Okay, I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
He took never back down, never give up. Way too literal. That is not what it meant. That is not what it meant, brother. Just take a knee. And I'll tell you this much: Mario Cristobal, I'm upset with him. I got a bone to pick with him because I wanted to talk on Locked On ACC about Coach Doeren's clock management to like make that a thing to where he had to take some hard looks in the mirror.
Cristobal said, "Hold my beer."
Hold my cerveza. You know, he's a
there you go. There you go.
He's a Spanish speaker. Hold my cerveza.
There you go.
But very seriously, it's one of those moments where you look at Doeren and you say, hey, you've got the talent. You've done the recruiting aspect of this thing. We've got some ball players. Now it's the time to let Anai cook. Let Anai do what he does best and kind of get out the way. Don't say, hey, we got to get conservative with this time, because we've seen how many times teams have absolutely murdered us with the clock. This is the second time this year, not in his tenure, this year. We saw it with Notre Dame. We saw it again with Marshall. So I understand both aspects of it. And I'm not going to say that I'm like full, hey, if you're wearing the red and white, if you're coaching the red and white, I support you. I back you. But I'm not going to sit here and say, Doeren is my prince, my king, my knight in shining armor, and I can't imagine anything else. I'm not going to tell that lie either.
Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need. Offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time wearing and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out. Yeah, no, like, and speaking of, Doeren, and I know you mentioned the Marshall, going to halftime thing. So I've been doing listening, because I definitely had the same question as well, the same issues as well, put out the tweet, saying, why are you going conservative? Things like that. And because really there was 2 things going through my head. First of all, he's a defensive coordinator by nature. That's where he comes. And so, yeah, he lives and breathes through defense, just the same way that Lane Kiffin lives and breathes through offense. He's the offensive coordinator background. Like, hey, he's perfectly okay winning a game 56 to 52. Like, he is perfectly okay doing that. And Doeren is perfectly okay winning a game 13 to 10, and so, but I know that's frustrating for a lot, but I know that's frustrating for a lot of people. But so that was first thing going through my head, is being like, okay, is he just saying, listen, we're just going to not even risk it with the offense side, not risk it with a fresh MJ Morris, and let's give it to the defense. But I mean, it is an interesting point that MJ Morris did throw 2 interceptions to that point. And I think it's kind of a thing where you kind of, maybe they kind of went into that saying, hey, listen, I'm going to run the ball one time, see how things go, and kind of take it from there. Like, then, and that's the biggest thing I have to say. And Ken, you know this just as much as I do. At the end of the day, no fan can hear what's going on within those headphones. Nobody knows what everybody's saying, what everybody's thinking, what's going on in the meeting rooms, things like that. Because on one side I'm saying, yeah, I mean, I get it. MJ Morris, he's fresh. He's thrown 2 interceptions at that point. So, like, you're like, am I really going to ask him to put himself in a situation in a 2-minute offense and try to go down and score and not turn the ball over? Or B, do I say, hey, listen, I'm going to run the ball, and if things don't go really well, then I'm just going to run the clock off and give it to my defense I trust all too well to finish out halftime? And, hey, hats off to Marshall that they were phenomenal on that offensive drive and made us pay for it. But because the other thing, which I'll add, but I'll let you add in, is that it was interesting to me how at halftime he said, we seem like we're playing not to lose. So by him saying that, I'm saying either he's trying to put the blame on others, which, I mean, I'm hoping to God that's not what he's doing, or part B, there was other people involved in that decision, which, I mean, I'm saying on the other side as well, I've never known really Doeren to let somebody else make a decision on their behalf, especially when it comes to game clock management. So
can I jump in real quick before we answer that? Like, how much does he really meddle on the offensive side of the ball? Like, I mean, is he saying, Anai, give me a run play, give me a pass play here on first down? Like that much I don't know. Maybe they already talk about it between possessions. I don't know, but go ahead and give me your answer.
Well, I'll tell you this: the fact that carried over from Coach Beck to Anai tells me that there had to be some involvement from Doeren here.
That's a good point.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like their offenses, if you've seen how they run their offenses before this, could not be more diametrically opposed, and yet, you see.
Here we are. Yeah.
You see a similar result. So at some point in time, the common denominator, you know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody in the math guy, but we all learned that, when you're trying to solve a problem, get rid of the common denominator. But I want to say this about that, okay? I am not a box score watcher. Y'all are not box score watchers. Doeren damn sure ain't a box score watcher. He's at the games. He's at the
right.
At least that's what I think. At least that's what the checks say. Right?
The only thing in the box score he cares about is a W and an L.
Exactly. So with that being said, even though MJ Morris threw 2 interceptions, I give him credit for maybe half of one of those interceptions. Right. One of them hit both of your receivers. Hit Casey, both of the hands. I don't care if it's outside the frame of your body. If it hits both of your hands, you need to come down with it, brother.
Or at least knock it down.
You're a college athlete. You're a full scholarship athlete, bro. You got to do what you got to do. But I understand. I get it. So even if that one, I say that's a freshman you threw outside his body, I give him half of it. Let's even give him the whole interception. Okay. We'll give him the whole interception. The second one,
The pick six.
Can't make that throw.
No. The throw was right. He made the right read. It was a bubble screen against. So here's the look that we saw there. It was an inside zone read with a tag of a bubble screen on the backside. Now here's how that works. He only throws the bubble screen if you see that you have a numbers advantage. We had 3-2. We had the numbers advantage. He needs to make that throw every day and twice on Sunday.
But the only thing which
Brooks needs to put his helmet in somebody's chest on that play. And that play right there solidified something that I've been beating the table about for quite some time. The tight ends need to play more. Because we keep talking about the receivers are young, they're not experienced, they're not, there's some talent issues, there's some experience issues. Well, what if I told you there was a room that has one guy that's been there for 6 or so years, another guy that's a fourth-year junior, and a freshman that may be behind KC, the second most talented freshman on this roster?
Yeah.
What if I told you there was a room that had all three of those guys and they can catch the ball too? Hold on now.
That sounds like the making of a 30 for 30.
Hold on now. Well, listen, I don't need a 30 for 30. I just need take me to Wendy's. Give me a 4 for 4 where you hitting them 4 times on one drive. Before this game, the entire tight end room combined for 12 receptions for 102 yards. In this game, Trent Penix alone went off for 3 receptions, 99 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Get the tight ends involved. If we cannot trust the receivers, we have tight ends that are not big, stocky, blocking guys. Trent Penix is a converted running back, for Christ's sake. Juice Vereen is 220 on a good day with bricks in his pocket?
Don't respect Chris Tootle.
And this is the thing. Chris Tootle is probably the best blocker out of the 3, and everybody's always said he don't want to block his way out of a paper bag. Well, look at him this year. He's blocking phenomenally. And where I come from, we have a saying. If you want to block, you'll get the rock. If you want to block, you'll get the rock. After what I saw from Porter Rooks, with all due respect, I don't say nothing on there that I wouldn't say to a young man's face. I would have told him, hey, brother, come stand next to me. Come grab a clipboard, stand next to me, because it's something that we need to get worked out in this next week in terms of your effort, your technique, your want to, your desire. I'm not mad at you if you get a holding call right there. I'm not mad at you if he just happens to make a play. He makes a beeline for the ball and hits you into it. And it's like, hey, he had 5 yards of momentum. He got us. Sure. Yeah. But for you to not even touch the young man, that's inexcusable. And now it goes down on MJ Morris's record as, man, he threw a bad pick 6 to the flats, when in reality, he made the right read. His teammates did not execute.
The only thing I would say to that, and I know this is kind of like really nitpicking, this is, more something that, especially for a young quarterback, you're just, you do what the play says. So this is kind of a little bit more of really quick outside thinking, but more of the point that when he got the snap, it's not like he caught it, turned and threw it. He caught it, kind of, cycled with it to get it where he wanted, and then threw it. So, kind of what goes through my head is, well, maybe in that circumstance where he knows, it's not a, grab and pop. Now there's an extra half a second added on this. Maybe instead of, tossing out there, because now the defender has a little bit of chance to work his way up, maybe I hold it and just go gain a yard, or just get back to line of scrimmage and just live another day. But again, that's a huge nitpick for sure. But I completely agree with you 100% that yes, that there is a huge issue. And again, I just don't understand the lack of usage for Chris Tootle, man. We've just refused to get him involved and give him an opportunity.
Yeah. So. And the quarterback position, one thing that you hear scouts talk about all the time in terms of the best quarterbacks from high school to college or college to the NFL, anticipation. Right. Anticipation. They can see the thing. They can know how it works out. That play, the anticipation is done pre-snap.
Right.
The anticipation is, what's the numbers? What's the numbers? Do I have my numbers advantage? Good. As soon as I get it, I'm going.
Right.
And so, I would hesitate to say that he should maybe pat that and pull it down, only because that shows a lack of trust in your teammates. That the read was there. You were supposed to do what you were supposed to. And again,
that's a good point.
If he throws that play and this gets intercepted 10 times, good. Now we know who somebody is messing up out there. Something is happening on that outside. Something's not being coached properly that we continue to mess up on that small little thing. Now, for right now, I can say, Porter, that's on you, because I have not seen this repetitively where our receivers are opening up the gate, standing back, and kind of doing the long arm block. Right. I haven't seen that from multiple receivers. That's something that I've exclusively seen from him in this moment. But if we see that repetitively, now we have a different conversation of, hey, and ask that. We're not doing that anymore. From now on, our alerts on these things can be maybe a stick concept, maybe a slant and 2 unders, but we're not doing this screen thing anymore because we can't trust anybody on the perimeter to block at any level.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, y'all. So with that being said, we're going to end part 1 right there, y'all. Make sure, again, for Ken, Grace, and these guys, man, make sure to go and follow Locked On Wolfpack on YouTube and anywhere that you get any of your podcast platforms, Spotify, you name it. And make sure to give them a follow on Twitter and at LO_Wolfpack as well. And we'll see y'all here for part 2 as we continue this conversation with Ken, and we'll see you then. Go Pack, y'all.